began to bless and bless. He opened doors like crazy. My wife was on a world radio program that aired all across the world. I began to get to go speak at different things and share our testimony. It was nothing at all about us, but nothing but the power of God. We had the opportunity to share our story and how God took a just miserable situation and turned it into something that absolutely glorified the King of Kings. Glorified the power of God. And one of those things in the spirit of Wild Game Dinner, one of those things that God allowed us to do is I got a phone call one day. And you got to realize, I know I look all professional up here tonight. But you got to realize I am from Possum Kingdom, Arkansas. Possum Kingdom, Arkansas. I am the hillbilliest of hillbilly. That is not a joke. That is not a joke. I mean, it is something.
Amen.
I go back there now and get scared. I'm the hillbilliest of hillbilly. And I got a call one day. And it was somebody that was inviting my son. They said, Jed's about 4 years old at this time. And like I said, hunting and fishing is our life, you know. And we were always the kind of people that when we saw the game warden, we typically went the other way. I told you the Lord doesn't work in my life. You know, we're just hillbillies. We love to hunt and fish, and now, man, the Lord's changed my life in so many ways, and I'm praising the Lord for every single day that I see my son. I mean, because he wasn't supposed to go to kindergarten, wasn't supposed to hunt Easter eggs, wasn't supposed to do any of those things. Sure wasn't supposed to be able to go deer hunting one day. None of those things. But God worked a miracle, and it already began to change people's lives because not only me, but so many people in our church, our communities, everywhere saw that miracle that night, and it changed their life. And I got a call one day, and there was a group taking a group of kids, cancer survivor kids, to go on a duck hunt up there in Missouri. And I thought, man, this is fantastic. I said, yeah, we'll go, and then I'll go ask Jed, hey, you want to go on duck hunting? You know, he's 4. I'm like, yeah, he wants to go. He's ready. So we go up there and we get in this hunting blind, and they ain't got these kind of hunting blinds in Possum Kingdom, Arkansas. We get in a flooded cornfield, and we're in a pit blind, and it's like something I ain't never seen. I used to think duck hunting was trying to shoot Mama's old white duck out there on the pond. I've never seen duck hunting like this. We get out there and it's just by the hundreds, these ducks just circling and mallards coming into that flooded corn, and it is fantastic. It's awesome, and they film it. We get to share our story, you know. It was on the Outdoor Channel and all that kind of thing. It was great. Had a great time. Never thought another thing about it. A few months later, I get a phone call, and it's from Mossy Oak out in Mississippi. And they called and said, Mr. Harper? I said, yes, sir. He said, would you be interested in filming a nationally televised TV show to air on the Pursuit Network, on Dish Network? And I was like, what's that? Dish Network, I ain't heard of it, you know. They asked if we would be interested in producing a television show based on our son's story and those things. And I said, well, let me pray about it. I don't know. I pastor a church. Our church really began to grow there in Mount Ida. A lot of things going on. My daughters were involved in sports and school, and didn't want to miss out on too much of that stuff, you know, but I prayed about it. And I began to think about that story out of story. And I thought, you know, if this is the door the Lord's opening for me, shame on me if we don't go through it. So I called back and said, yeah, absolutely, but understand this, it's going to be a ministry. You know, I'm not going out there to make a hunting show, to give people hunting tips. And first of all, I couldn't even begin to tell you how to do that. But that's not my interest. But if we can do it as a ministry, they said, we'd love for you to do that. So I called up my old buddies, David Spears and old Uncle Matthew over here, and I said, hey, you ain't going to believe this. You ain't going to believe this. What do you think about helping me do this TV show? They was all on board, and the Lord allowed us to go all over the country filming TV. And I'm just going to tell you a story or two. I love telling stories. And I'm going to tell you a story or two. The first one is our first big filming trip for this show was we were going to Georgia. We were going out to Georgia turkey hunting. And listen, we are turkey hunters. We love it. That's that I like the deer hunt. I love the turkey hunt. We were going turkey hunting. We thought, Georgia, here we come. We ain't never been there. I think that's over that way. But we're going to Georgia turkey hunting. We go out there. We got the camera gear. We got the, all the stuff we don't know nothing about. We ain't never done any of this stuff. And they're giving us the run line. They'd have these storyboards for these episodes. And you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to do this. And we're like, I thought we were shooting turkeys. I didn't realize we were doing all this, man. So we get out there, and first of all, out there in Georgia, it ain't like Arkansas. There's not mountains and rocks. There ain't nothing but flat ground and swamps out there in Georgia. We show up, we drive all night. I preach Sunday morning. We leave as soon as we get through preaching. We drive all night. We get out there about an hour before daylight. We're all so sleepy we can't walk, but we're here to make TV. They said, turn the camera on, get out there and turkey hunt, So here we go, we're walking around. We hear a turkey over there. What do you do here in Arkansas when you hear a turkey? You go after it. You take off. There's a turkey. Here we go. Us hillbillies going down through somewhere we ain't never been. We go after a turkey, and the only thing is, the turkey's over there hammering, gobbling his head off, but there's a huge swamp in between us and the turkey. You know what we did? Bailed off in that swamp. We got video of us carrying our guns up like this, up about chest deep, going across that river, across that swamp to get to that turkey. We get over there, get set up, he gobbles again. You know where he's at? You know what we did? Lifted that gun up, right back across there we went. We chased that thing. That turkey had to be laughing at us. We finally give up on it. We got our tails between our legs. We head back toward the little old house we stand at. We stop in the gas station to get gas, and there's them old men in there. This is the truth, ain't it? It's the gospel truth. We're like, guys, we don't know what we're doing out here in Georgia. We need a little direction. Them old locals there, over here and over here. Where's that at? And they begin to tell us where to go. And I said, well, we ain't even been over there. I said, over in this direction is where we've been going. They said, where at? Well, I began to show them where we're at, and they said, I said, we crossed that swamp twice today. And they said, that one right there? I said, yeah. He said, boys, they killed the state record alligator out of that thing. It's the truth. We let that gobbler go. We didn't want him. We're also down there in Georgia. I'm going to get this in a minute. We're also down there in Georgia, and listen, if there's one guy in this world, I'm going to say two. Two guys in this world that's bigger hillbillies than me. One of them's your pastor. I mean, I ain't never seen another pastor in my life so proud about his raccoon stew or whatever. Barbecue.